Today we will be discussing whether Yujiro would be able to survive in all these different zombie universes. Now, I will say this to prepare you for this video. There is going to be a lot of graphic content for the sake of YouTube's use. All that. I hope this doesn't get age restricted, but we'll see. We'll see. But also, for this topic with Yujiro going against all these different zombie universes, here's the main thing I'm gonna get across. I really won't be going through the characters unless they really have an actual standing chance to go and fight or go toe to toe, or if they would actually be a real problem to Yujiro cleaning out the verse of any kind. I'm really going to mostly be discussing and cleaning through the whole, the kind of cleaning through mostly whether Yujiro would just low diff, no diff them. Pretty much, I'm trying to kind of speed run the first half of this to get to the main parts for this video. Now, the first universe we're gonna clean through is going to be Yujiro versus The Walking Dead. And let's be honest, do we really have to discuss whether or not he would absolutely body all the cast of, The Walking Dead? The only thing I will say here is that the only, I guess, alright and kind of interesting interaction that would happen would be Negan seeing Yujiro, or them noticing each other, or them talking, whatever. But I really don't see that happening. I see Yujiro coming up to Negan, then Negan saying Negan crap and basically cussing him out, and basically, oh, look at him, and then Yujiro just basically killing him instantly and bodying him in flat one millisecond. It's gonna be so fast. And honestly, if you want to bring up the whole discussion whether Yujiro would be able to clean through the defenses of Negan, yes, he would easily. He would easily cut through the defenses of Negan and take out their entire freaking platoon of weaponry, all their freaking weapons, all their people. Yeah, they're just everyone in The Walking Dead, people-wise. Even if you wanted to get a whole nation of army weaponry, you still ain't gonna do shit against Yujiro. Sorry for my language. You're still not gonna do anything to Yujiro at all. And if you want to get into the whole discussion whether Yujiro would actually get infected, realistically, no. He's not dumb enough to let himself to even get bit. And even if he was bit, the zombies are not gonna have the strength or bite force to be able to do anything against Yujiro's skin at all. Their heads would probably combust, their jaws would probably break further, and their teeth would probably cave into their skulls deeper by them trying to bite him. So it wouldn't work, and obviously the scratching's not gonna work either. And I'm gonna say this right now: Yujiro no diffs the entire verse, easy peasy. Now the second zombie verse that we're gonna get into is going to be The Last of Us. The reason why I say The Last of Us is next, and you might say, well, there could be other contenders like World War Z, but I really don't see that being a problem to put either World War Z or Last of Us. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to put Last of Us, because I feel like, obviously, Last of Us has more threats in this occasion, and they have more variants of zombies, so they're definitely up next on the list. If you want to put World War Z in the discussion, it would kind of go similar to with the Walking Dead situation. Sure, they're very fast and so on and so forth, and they got numbers, but numbers doesn't really work well against Yujiro in this situation, especially that verse. Now, with The Last of Us, since there's multiple variations, the regular zombies, I can see you saying maybe that Yujiro could get infected, maybe. That's a very, very low chance. There's a 1% chance that could happen, and that's if Yujiro was not a competent, a really dumb fighter. He just let crap happen to him. Realistically, he's not gonna let that happen. He's not gonna let that happen to him. Okay, let's all be honest. In his character, him as a character, he is not gonna do that because he's an elite martial artist. He masters martial arts. He's not gonna let himself be dumbfounded by stupidity like that. So that's not going to happen in this situation. realistically. Now, since he really won't get infected, I will say this: he's gonna clean through all the regular variants, like the regular, regular ones you see day to day in The Last of Us and the HBO show you first see. Those guys are getting cleaned through. Like, it's not really that much of a problem. The only ones that I seen being a slight problem really is like the big tanks or the ones that call in more hordes. Like, those would actually be a slight problem for Yujiro. But since Yujiro, for me, I would put Yujiro max as like multi-city level. I don't really see them being a big, huge threat. Like, they wouldn't be able to like even cut Yujiro. They still wouldn't be able to cut Yujiro. This verse still isn't gonna cut Yujiro at all. Like, he's not gonna get any damage in this verse. He wouldn't even get him poisoning, really. Like, he can't get poisoned either, by the way. So, it's just one of those things. It's like, like, they're just gonna get no div 2. Like, The Last of Us is not surviving Yujiro invading their verse. And yeah, and we don't even gotta get to the humans. Like, the humans instantly get clapped, let's all be honest. So 0 diff. All the big variants, like if you even wanted to bring up the Rat King, you could freaking put 20 Rat Kings in front of Yujiro and he would still clap them very, very easily. No diff. Easy. So the entire verse cleared out, no diff. Now, for the sake of the video being a little bit shorter, I am going to put this one as the main discussion, the final part. Would Yujiro be able to solo Resident Evil at all? Like, would he be able to solo the entire verse, all the variants, all the monsters, pretty much, all the infected? Would he be able to clean through that verse? Realistically, would he be able to do it? And we'll be getting into that for the sake of this final part. Now, Yujiro, obviously, like we discussed before, he's only going to have a slight bit of trouble with the regular zombies. Like, I mean, I don't really see y'all having to have a big discussion about that. We already went through that with Last of Us and The Walking Dead, okay? We don't need to get into that again. We know already. We should know already. And honestly, I don't know where Resident Evil variants would scale to for the sake of this video. I would put them at probably multi-city block level max scaling in strength and power AP. I'm pretty sure that's where they would scale at max, but they're more better in regeneration, of course, and hacks and that type of way. And obviously boost of strength and speed and all that. They're better in those attributes. Now, here comes the problem. Because Yujiro's first big problem, like the first big enemy he's gonna run into for the sake of this video, he will be running into Nemesis. Now, Nemesis, like I said, the max I would scale the Resident Evil verse strength AP wise would be multi-city block level to maybe city level. Like, you could argue maybe city level, but that's really pushing it for me, in my opinion. I've never really seen anything from the Resident Evil universe that's like giving me, oh, this is city level threat, or even small town level. Like, I've never even seen that from them, so I don't really see that. Like, they could destroy a small city or a small town, I guess, in the amount of time, but I don't see them destroying an entire city and freaking entire small town with just one punch or one strike or whatever. I don't see that happening with Resident Evil bosses even. So realistically, I would put them at multi-city block level max. So where would they actually be a problem? Why would they actually be a problem for Yujiro? Well, the real problem is Yujiro doesn't really have great feats for regeneration, in my opinion. So this is where they would have a better advantage in regeneration, like low-key. That's the only thing they have in this situation. Regeneration and constant boost and overdrive of rage power, pretty much. So that's the only thing they got against Yujiro. They don't got martial arts. They don't got mastery, multiple skills like that. They're pretty much just a bunch of walking steroid, muscle, grotesque monsters that pretty much are on the juice, you know. That's what they are. That's what they are, like, realistically. So Yujiro basically will cut through like Nemesis, because Nemesis, like I said, like every other variant, big boss level variant, they're only gonna be city block, multi-city block level max. So Nemesis, I don't even think Nemesis is really city block level. I think he's multi-large building level, and easily Yujiro passes that with the skyscraper feat we saw in the manga. So Yujiro would probably get through him. He would be a fun time for Yujiro, I guess, but in my opinion, Yujiro's gonna low diff him. Like, he's gonna rip him to shreds. He's gonna rip his freaking skin all off and everything. Like, it's not even gonna be much of a trouble. And if Nemesis wanted to shoot his little cannon, his little gun, that really wouldn't do anything either, because Yujiro, by multiple statements, is obviously above countries and nations. If you want to go by that logic. If you want to go by that logic, if you don't, fine. But for the sake of this video, I really want to use that type of statements and how many times that's been repeated to us that those nations are below him. He is above them. Even though it has come from characters, you could still take it as somewhat legible statements for the sake of this. But you don't even really need that. I mean, he's already proved that he's small 10 level at the lowest low balls of balls. So he could easily be city level to me and multi-city level to me. So in my opinion, really fact here, he's going to tear through Nemesis, and then he's going to tear through Mr. T. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to tear through all the freaking variants, all the big bosses in the first game and the second game, pretty much. Now, where we get interesting discussion here a little bit is when you're talking about him going against, like, the gigantic freaking, like, the snake in the Resident Evil game. Gosh, that's scary. But here's the thing. Yujiro's obviously not going to be scared of a gigantic snake. You know why? Because we already have feats that back up that he can destroy small kaiju level monsters as it is. Like, we obviously saw it in the manga, and we saw it pretty much in the middle of all the manga. So I'm pretty sure Yujiro is definitely above that. So I'm pretty sure Yujiro right now, currently, since we're using that Yujiro, would be at large kaiju level already with strength, pretty much at this point, because I'm pretty sure he's doubled fold over the small kaiju level monster. So he's gonna get through that, but it would be interesting to see him just grab the snake's mouth and just rip it like that, you know, bottom to top, just rip it straight in half, you know. That would be interesting to see. But if we're talking about the other two giants, those giants, which are actually matter, those guys too, the reason why the first giant would go down, obviously, is because Yujiro can see kind of like x-ray vision, pretty much. He kind of has really just x-ray vision, and he can see weaknesses, and he can just take them out that way. And he can do the same with the monster. Like, he's getting through the armor. I don't really see that as an argument. He's getting through that armor, dude. And then he's going to eventually rip the head off of that giant too, and he's going to body that giant like a freaking beast. And once he gets to them, the only ones I see really being a problem is like some of the bigger bosses, like the grotesque ones with the multiple teeth. I forgot what it's called. But you know that one. That one Yujiro could also get through realistically. Like, he could easily just start tearing through the flesh and the skin of everything of that thing. And I see him clearing through that too, low diff. Like, he's clearing through most of the verse low diff. The only problem I see, like I said, is with this other monster that has really crazy regeneration. Now, I don't know the weaknesses of this monster, so we're going to leave it up to Yujiro. Has to be able to one-shot it if he wants to actually, like, completely kill it, I would say. But you could still argue that it could keep coming back from even that, which I could see that being an argument, to be honest with you. So the only thing I see here being a problem, and here's another thing I didn't even get into here, but we'll get into this because this is the only time Yujiro was ever going to use his techniques for these fights, is when he fights this specific monster of a beast. of a beast. That, yes, you see it on the screen. That thing, that horrific, grotesque thing, could really pose a problem against Yujiro just because of the regeneration problem and the fact that this thing can constantly come back so fast. So in my opinion, the only way Yujiro's gonna win this is if he will decide to one shot. If he doesn't decide to one shot this thing in time, like, he could survive this thing for days and days, and I'm pretty much sure of that. But if he doesn't decide to eventually one shot it, he might actually end up getting damaged. But I still see Yujiro outlasting this thing, even with the regeneration powers it has. So it would be a mid-difficulty fight. Over time, it would be a mid-difficulty fight. Low diff if he just decides to go against it and fight head-on. So there's that. Now, if you want to talk about all the other characters, like the humans and the mixed ones, the ones that are half zombie and half, pretty much mutants, all of that, I honestly see them also getting clapped by Yujiro low to mid diff. I don't really see anyone posing a high diff difficulty match here, in my opinion, besides maybe the giant kaiju. But like I said, I'm pretty sure current Yujiro is above those large kaiju monsters easily and could easily take them on. In my opinion, I think that's pretty realistic to think of, because obviously we've seen it in the manga series that Baki characters grow over time. And there was also a very, very important statement that was given by the creator himself that stated that Yujiro would never lose to Baki again. Like, he would never lose. Baki would never win this against Yujiro again. So from that recent interview statement, and if you want to go there and say, oh, but Yujiro's not nuke level because he fooled the US president, that was grip strength. So I don't really see that being like post AP. That's more or less grip strength, in my opinion. Like, I don't see that as being AP, And even if it was a foolery, I mean, come on, guys, really? Really? You're gonna try to pose that against current Yujiro at this point? Current Yujiro absolutely still would easily be able to beat that version of Yujiro. I'm pretty sure, guys. Like, come on. Let's get over that. Don't even use that as argument nowadays. Yujiro's long past that at this point. Current Yujiro's long past that. Now, I want to thank all of the people that even support my content. I want to thank all of the people that, watch these videos. And I hope that you subscribe and share and show more. I also hope that, God blesses you. And I pray for you that, you yourself will follow God's path. Obviously, we make mistakes, but we need to believe in Christ in order to follow that path. And I know it's very hard for many of you, but I wanted to leave you with that last message there. Bye.